Welcome to Supporting Student Success Across the Finish Line. This is an informal discussion, and we want to just be able to share some ideas and strategies that will help both you and your students successfully complete the fall term. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, and then we can just talk about a couple of questions. So I'll start with Mary.
Hello, Mary McCormick, Assistant Provost for Student Success.
Thanks, Mary. Ariel?
Hi, I'm Ariel Lesnick, and I am the Director of Student Accessibility Services and Academic Support, and I report to Mary under the Success Studio.
Thanks, Ariel. Maura?
Hi, I'm Maura Mulligan. I'm the Associate Dean for Health and Wellness and oversee the Center for Wellness and the Fitness Center here on campus.
Great, thank you. Caitlin?
Hi there, my name's Caitlin Wells, pronouns she, her, and I am the Executive Director of Equity and Compliance and the Title IX Coordinator in the Office of Institutional Equity.
Thanks, Caitlin. And Tess Zakshevsky, pronouns she, her, Senior Director of the Teaching and Learning Collaborative. So what student health and well-being challenges do you anticipate as we wind down this term?
Hi, it's a great question. Thanks, Tess. I think what we're seeing a lot of for students, especially coming out of COVID and a very different year that we had last year, a lot more in-person classes, there's been a lot of heightened anxiety and stress that we're going to be seeing more of as we head toward final projects and presentations and final exams for students. So I just think having faculty kind of aware you're going to be seeing that in the classroom, maybe having students really overwhelmed emotionally because of everything else that that's going on in their lives and what they're trying to juggle academically as well. So those are the real big things that are going on. But I do think it's important that we keep in mind that there's still a lot of other emotions going on for students, especially there's a lot of trauma and a lot of impact to our students that they're still feeling personally or with their families around COVID. So whether it's sort of still being worried about people or having lost people or, you know, financially having that impact on their families, people having lost jobs. So those kinds of things are still really weighing heavily on our students, in addition to the general academic end of semester stress that we normally have. They're sort of coming at us, many of them, with all this other sort of trauma that's happened or it has intensified over the last year and a half of the pandemic.
Yeah, I would echo Maura, and I'd say some of what I've heard in speaking with students and really faculty and staff too, is the expression of the anxiety and the fear and the concerns compounded by a kind of guilt about still feeling that way. I've heard a lot of, well, gosh, we've been doing this for a year. How have I not figured it out yet? Or I know I shouldn't be worried about this, but. And I think that is just an additional consideration as we're working to support folks in our own circles, creating spaces to say, you feel how you feel, or, that is hard. Thank you for sharing. As opposed to saying, you're right, you shouldn't feel that way. Stop being stressed. That doesn't help. We are stressed, we are anxious, and it just has to be okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Caitlin. I think the more we can just be mindful of what we're all going through, but especially our students, and give as much grace and flexibility as we can and understanding of that. And if people need a little more time, if they need to step out of class to compose themselves, if they need to be late to class, obviously within reason. You all have obviously academic stuff that needs to happen, absolutely. But just sort of recognizing that sometimes those things may impact students' ability to be fully present. Just being mindful of that, offering them an opportunity to talk. And I think being really aware of resources of where to send them if they are struggling is also really helpful.
Yeah, picking up on what Maura just said, I was thinking about students really trying to develop a support system over the course of this semester, because for most of them, they continue to be at home exclusively for 2 years. And so even their ability to network and make those connections to resources, and be able to just manage all the things that they're being asked to do. So for me, that's the other thing is students are still working towards learning what the resources are, particularly our first year and sophomore students who are just learning the campus for the first time, many of them.
Yeah, and I think about it's all kind of in lockstep with you all, but some of the students don't know the resources, and B, I think that they don't realize how open faculty, staff are to we're understanding. We've been living this too. It's a unique equalizer in some ways. And I know I'll talk with students one-on-one and they'll say, well, I missed this class for this, and this, but I didn't tell anyone. I'm like, we're not mind readers. Like, if you had said something, this could be a different situation. We're not gonna dwell on that. We're gonna be looking forward, but we're all in this together in a lot of ways. And again, knowing what resources are available and just speaking up and asking for help and saying these things, I think could go a long way. So I'm definitely, I know that we're really spreading the word around here that, if you reach out, there's going to be a ton of folks here returning that call.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. So how can we help to guide students? What are some tips and strategies, thoughts that you have for guiding students who have fallen behind as we roll toward the end of this term?
I'm just going to jump in, kind of just what Ariel said. Tell someone. There is tons of support on campus, and it is heartbreaking to have a student come in at the very end of a semester and hear that they have been struggling alone, whether it's emotionally or academically, for a while, and now it's sort of at this breaking point, right? Like, I've missed so much, or I didn't tell anyone. So, and that's not about blame at all, but just making sure, just tell someone, because there's lots of people on campus that can connect you, whether it's academic, whether it's mental health, whatever it might be. They can get you to the resources. The faculty are very understanding. If you respond to them, email them, talk to them after class. So I think that's like the number one thing, I think, for anyone to be sharing with students, is just to let someone know what they're struggling with, and then we'll help them figure out what to do.
Yeah, I agree. And I think so, two pieces here, right? Everything you said, Maura, laying out that you are a safe space for a student to be candid, for a space for a student to speak candidly, to come with concerns. Because, I won't speak to Wentworth specifically, but I can say, a lot of across the board at different institutions, one of the things I always hear are faculty and staff members saying, I'm not a mind reader, and students saying, I just wish someone would ask. And so what I hear with that is that everybody is looking for a space to communicate. And so one of the things I love about Wentworth, and that I've seen our faculty and a lot of our administrators do very effectively, is out the gate say, hey, look, if you have this issue, here's where you're going to go. If you don't know where to go, that's okay. Come to me because I can tell you. And I think the more we do that, the more we're opening up that line of communication. The other thing that I think can be tremendously effective is just when somebody does come to you, acting on that assurance that you're a safe place, modeling the open communication you're hoping to see from students. Because at the end of the day, I think, maybe for better or worse, people do talk. So if a student comes to Mary, and I know they've been and they will, and says, I need some help, and Mary does everything she does and says, thank you for coming. I'm here to support you. Here are these resources. Trust and believe that student is going and telling every other student, hey, go to Mary. Hey, go to your professor. Go to Maura, Ariel, et cetera. And so I think that's the best we can do, is say what we're going to do, and then when we're given the opportunity, act on that.
And to add some practical thoughts beyond the, definitely being supportive is, set up a time, or if you have time right then, to just sit with the student and review where they are in your course. Because I think sometimes students perception of how they're doing in a course, it doesn't really sync with how they're doing. So just sitting with them and talking through the work that they still have. And sometimes, you know, I know that faculty will say to a student, well, don't focus on these small assignments. At this point, I'd rather you take your time and energy and put it in this bigger, more important project, et cetera. So helping students assess where they are in your class, and then helping them make a practical plan for executing that work or getting that work done. The Success Studio folks are happy to do that as well, but you know, sometimes we will reach out to you as an instructor to say, help us help the student figure out what they should be focusing on. So I think that's a really important thing that I've seen many faculty do successfully, and in the relief students feel then when they have a plan and the plan is with the instructor, it's really profound. And so then we in the Success Studio can take all the plans each individual faculty member does and help students create an actual schedule to get it done. So that's sort of a very practical tip. And then to Maura and Caitlin's point, if you have a student who's really struggling and in high distress, I think connecting them right away with one of us, so we can then figure out a plan for that student beyond the practical piece is really important.
Wonderful. And always reach out to, you know, teach@wit.edu. We're really happy to partner with our faculty and staff colleagues to really help to think of different strategies, different ways that assessments can happen, how assessments can happen, and instructional designers are just fantastic resources. Wonderful. Parting thoughts as we close.
I would say we're also here to support you. So we are all, you know, working towards supporting students, but it's also important for us to support each other. So if you are needing to consult or talk with us about anything related to your class, a student, we're here for you as well. So I think it's a collaborative effort helping support students and their success. So we're also here for you.
Absolutely.
I sort of echo what Mary said. While the center serves students, we often will consult with faculty, staff. Our phone number is right there in my name signature, so it's easy to remember if you're watching this. So you can call us if you just want to talk through, or email us if you want to talk through a situation with a student to say, is this a good referral to you? Is this better to go to accessibility services, the Success Studio? Where should we refer the student to? We're happy to do that and do that quite often. But our main phone number as well, 24/7, you can call, and there's a counselor by phone. So if you're teaching after hours, or you get a concerning email from a student late at night or on the weekends, and we know sometimes that happens for faculty, know that you could call that number and talk to a counselor no matter when that is. If you're just worried and you don't want it to go into the next business day, if you get a concern, just know there's resources beyond the workday as well if you need it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Maura. Great idea to put that in your name line.
I actually also thought your phone number was a great idea, Maura. I saw it when we logged in. Brilliant. Not my final words. For those of you who haven't connected with me or who I haven't met, a big part of what I do here at the university is respond to allegations of discrimination, harassment, and sexual misconduct. It's been my experience that very often the impact of discrimination, harassment, sexual misconduct often ends up coming to the attention of professors right around this time of the semester. As you know, a student comes to you and says, hey, I've really been struggling with some personal things. It's been impacting how I'm doing in your class. And then what often follows is an allegation of discrimination, harassment, or sexual misconduct. I understand that those conversations are not easy at all. If you ever need any support in navigating that conversation, feel free to reach out to me by phone or email. If nothing else, know that I am here as, again, a resource to you all, as well as a resource to the students. If a student does share an allegation relating to one of those policies, we have reporting forms online that you can use to help them make a report. You can also just send me an email and I can reach out directly to the student. With that, I will turn it back over to you all for your final words.
I feel like a broken record, but you know where to find us now, hopefully. So please seek us out. We are absolutely here for you. I, like Maura, have already engaged in a few hypotheticals with faculty and other staff members. And those are some of my favorite things to do because, whether it's based on a real student in a real situation or something where you're being proactive and you're thinking, okay, well, what if this happens? Who would I go to in this situation? That can be some of the best ways that we can support everybody here on campus is thinking about those proactively, knowing who to go to tease these things out. So when you're in the heat of the moment, you've already got that question answered. You already know who your next step is. So I'm really glad for anybody who's watching this, come to us.
And BD, third floor is where you'll find Success Studio,
Yes.
Teaching and Learning Collaborative. Caitlin is located in CEIS and Maura is located in the new space,
Second floor, Williston Hall.
second floor of Williston Hall. Wonderful. Thanks so much. So have a wonderful end to the term. Please proactively reach out to us. We're here for you and we're here to help students succeed. And we're wishing you happy Thanksgiving. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tess.